Have you ever wondered if the fabled lost city of Atlantis really exists, or it's just a figment of our collective imagination? It's a question that has stirred the minds of scholars, explorers, and dreamers alike for centuries. The enigma called Atlantis is one that refuses to fade away, lingering on the edge of our consciousness, daring us to discover the truth. Our tale of Atlantis springs from one source, the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. In his works, Timaeus and Critias, penned around 2,400 years ago, he speaks of a great civilization, rich in culture and technology, that existed 9,000 years before his own time. A civilization that, according to Plato, was swallowed by the sea in a single day and night of catastrophic earthquakes and floods. Atlantis, as he described, was a city of unrivaled beauty and grandeur, a paradise on earth. Its citizens were wise and virtuous, living in harmony with nature, but as they grew powerful, they became corrupted by their wealth and power, losing favor with the gods, and so Atlantis was destroyed, disappearing beneath the waves, never to be seen again. Over the centuries, the story of Atlantis has been interpreted in countless ways. Some view it as a cautionary tale spun by Plato, a warning against the perils of hubris and unchecked power. Others, however, believe that Atlantis was a real place, a lost civilization that was indeed advanced beyond its years, and its destruction, a historical event. There are those who have dedicated their lives to finding Atlantis, searching the depths of the ocean, studying ancient texts, and analyzing geological data. Yet, despite numerous theories and proposed locations, no definitive evidence has been found that can confirm the existence of this lost city. So, is Atlantis a relic of our past, buried deep under the sea, or is it merely a myth spun by a philosopher centuries ago? The answer remains as elusive as the city itself, shrouded in mystery, waiting to be discovered. There are those who staunchly believe in the existence of Atlantis. Let's delve into their reasoning. Believers in the lost city of Atlantis often point to several key pieces of evidence, the first of which is the detailed account provided by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. In his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, Plato described Atlantis as a powerful and advanced kingdom that sank, in a single day and night of misfortune, into the ocean around 9,000 years before his own time. The level of detail in his writings, from the layout of the city to the social structure and even the measurements of the island, is so precise that many argue it could only have been based on real knowledge. Another piece of evidence often cited is the striking similarities between ancient civilizations separated by vast oceans. These similarities include common architectural styles, shared mythologies, and even similar words and phrases in their respective languages. Some argue that these parallels are too significant to ignore and suggest the influence of a common ancestor civilization, Atlantis. Then there's the myriad of proposed locations for Atlantis. While Plato placed Atlantis beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now know as the Strait of Gibraltar, and into the Atlantic Ocean, others have suggested it could be found anywhere from the Caribbean to the Mediterranean, the North Sea to the Indonesian archipelago. Each proposed location comes with its own set of evidence, from underwater formations resembling the layout depicted by Plato, to local legends and historical records that echo the tale of a once great civilization swallowed by the sea. There are also those who point to scientific discoveries as proof of Atlantis's existence. For instance, the discovery of the sunken city of Helike, which disappeared beneath the waves after an earthquake in ancient Greece, demonstrates that entire cities can indeed be lost beneath the sea. Some also mention the discovery of the Bimini Road, a submerged rock formation near the Bahamas that some believe to be the remnants of an ancient road, or perhaps the road to Atlantis itself. And then there's the advanced technology and knowledge attributed to the Atlanteans. From Plato's account of their advanced civilization, many have speculated that they possessed technologies and knowledge lost to time, which could explain the unexplained mysteries and achievements of ancient civilizations. So you see, the believer's evidence is not without merit. The detailed account by Plato, the similarities between ancient civilizations, the proposed locations with their unique pieces of evidence, the scientific discoveries, and the idea of advanced Atlantean knowledge, all these elements form a compelling case for the existence of Atlantis. With such compelling arguments, it is easy to see why many are convinced of Atlantis's reality. But not everyone is convinced. There are those who see Atlantis as nothing more than a myth. Let's explore their point of view. First, let's delve into the lack of concrete archaeological evidence. Despite the numerous expeditions and countless hours dedicated to finding Atlantis, no definitive physical proof has ever been found. From deep-sea dives to satellite imaging, modern technology has not yet unveiled a sunken city that matches the grandeur of Atlantis as described by Plato. While some intriguing underwater structures have been discovered, none can be conclusively linked to the legendary city. So, skeptics argue that without tangible evidence, Atlantis remains a figment of imagination. Then there's the argument centered around the origin of the Atlantis tale, the writings of the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. Plato introduced Atlantis in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias around 2,400 years ago. However, some scholars argue that Plato's writings were allegorical, not historical. They propose that Atlantis was a metaphorical construct, a device Plato used to convey his philosophical ideas about ideal societies and the perils of hubris. If this interpretation holds, then Atlantis was never meant to be a real place. Furthermore, the inconsistencies in the proposed locations for Atlantis add to the skepticism. Over the centuries, theories have placed Atlantis in locations as diverse as the Mediterranean, the Caribbean, the North Sea, and even Antarctica. Each theory is often backed by its own set of circumstantial evidence and interpretations of Plato's text. Yet the wide disparity in these proposed locations raises questions about their validity. If Atlantis were real, wouldn't there be a more consistent theory about its location? In addition to these points, critics often highlight the absence of Atlantis in any other ancient writings. Atlantis is conspicuously absent from the historical records of civilizations that were contemporaries of the supposed Atlantean society. This lack of mention in other historical texts, critics argue, further supports the view of Atlantis as a creation of Plato's philosophical narratives rather than a historical city. Finally, skeptics point out that many elements of the Atlantis story, such as its advanced technology and catastrophic destruction, are common themes in myths and legends worldwide. They argue that these elements are more reflective of universal storytelling tropes than of historical facts. Given these counterpoints, it's understandable why Atlantis' existence is still a topic of heated debate. Could it be possible that Atlantis is a blend of both fact and fiction? Let's ponder over this perspective. History is riddled with such instances where reality and mythology intertwine, creating narratives that sway between facts and tall tales. Atlantis could be one such story, an amalgamation of actual events or places, embellished and misunderstood over the centuries. Consider the legend of the city of Troy, for instance. For centuries it was thought to be a figment of Homer's imaginative poetry, but Heinrich Schliemann, an enthusiastic archaeologist, was convinced of the truth behind the myth. His relentless excavations led to the discovery of an ancient city in the late 19th century, in a location aligning with Homer's descriptions. The city found was not a perfect match for the Troy of legend, but it was close enough to suggest that Homer's epic could have been based on real places and events. Similarly, the lost city of Atlantis may well have been inspired by a real place, its story distorted and amplified over the ages. Plato's detailed accounts of the city's grandeur, its advanced civilization, and its cataclysmic end may have been exaggerated interpretations of actual historical events. Perhaps it was a smaller civilization, advanced for its time, that suffered a natural disaster, leading to its downfall. Over time, the story might have been embellished, transforming it into the legendary Atlantis we know today. The ancient city of Helike provides another compelling comparison. Once a flourishing city in ancient Greece, it disappeared overnight due to a catastrophic earthquake and tsunami. The city remained lost for over 2,000 years until its rediscovery in the 20th century. This real-life event parallels the Atlantis tale closely and could have influenced Plato's narrative. However, it's important to note that these possibilities are speculative. Without definitive archaeological evidence, we cannot conclusively prove that Atlantis was a real place. Yet, the lack of concrete proof doesn't entirely discredit the theory either. The absence of evidence is not necessarily evidence of absence. The Atlantis story may also serve as a metaphorical tale, a cautionary fable about the dangers of hubris and moral decay. Perhaps Plato invented Atlantis as a literary device, a mythical utopia that fell into the sea due to its own arrogance and corruption, serving as a warning to his contemporaries. In the end, it's this enigmatic blend of fact and fiction that makes the story of Atlantis so intriguing. The city's existence remains shrouded in mystery, a tantalizing puzzle that continues to captivate our collective imagination. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in the middle, a fascinating compromise between the extremes of unwavering belief in its existence and outright skepticism. The lost city of Atlantis could be a melange of historical reality and imaginative myth, a captivating riddle waiting to be solved. This middle ground perspective offers a fascinating compromise between the two extremes of belief and skepticism. So, after weighing both sides of the debate, what can we truly say about the existence of Atlantis? Let's take a moment to recap. On one side, we have tantalizing clues that suggest the possibility of a lost civilization. Ancient texts, intriguing legends, and intriguing underwater anomalies all point to the potential existence of Atlantis. The writings of Plato, a primary source of the Atlantis narrative, also give us pause. He described Atlantis with such precision and detail that it's difficult to dismiss his accounts as pure fabrication. Yet on the other side, we have a wall of skepticism, rooted in the absence of definitive empirical evidence. Despite extensive searches, no one has yet found the indisputable smoking gun that would put to rest the debate once and for all. Many experts argue that Plato's accounts were allegorical, not historical, and that Atlantis was a construct of his philosophical musings rather than a real city. And here lies the crux of the matter: the lack of concrete proof does not necessarily equate to the absence of truth. After all, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Yet, without tangible proof, we cannot conclusively say that Atlantis was real. This leaves us in a realm of uncertainty, a gray area where the lines between fact and fiction blur. The enduring allure of the Atlantis mystery is perhaps rooted in this very ambiguity. It sparks our curiosity, fuels our imagination, and keeps us questioning. The tale of Atlantis, whether real or imagined, serves as a mirror to our collective consciousness. It reflects our fascination with lost civilizations, our thirst for knowledge, and our innate desire to unravel the mysteries of our past. Whether fact or fiction, the tale of Atlantis continues to captivate us, a testament to the enduring power of mystery and the human imagination. Why does Atlantis, real or not, continue to captivate our imaginations? The answer lies in the universal appeal of the Atlantis myth, its impact on popular culture, and its symbolic significance. The Atlantis story has been told and retold, adapted and reimagined, for over 2,000 years. It's a tale that transcends cultural boundaries, a myth that has become a metaphor. It's a story of a civilization advanced beyond its time, yet brought to its knees by its hubris, a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power, and the inevitable downfall of those who misuse it. This myth has seeped into our collective consciousness and popular culture. From video games to blockbuster movies, from novels to comic books, the lost city of Atlantis has been a source of endless inspiration. It represents the allure of the unknown, the thrill of discovery, and the fascination with the unexplained. In an increasingly known world, Atlantis offers a glimmer of the unknown, a tantalizing enigma that continues to challenge explorers, historians, and dreamers. It's a symbol of our innate curiosity, our relentless pursuit of knowledge, and our undying fascination with the mysteries of our past. Atlantis also has a deeper, more symbolic significance. The story of its rise and fall echoes the cyclical nature of civilizations, the impermanence of power, and the ephemeral nature of human achievements. It's a reminder of our own mortality, of the fleeting nature of our existence, and of the transient nature of our accomplishments. In a world where everything seems to be within our grasp, where every corner of the globe has been charted and every mystery seemingly solved, Atlantis remains an enigma, a symbol of the unattainable, the elusive, the eternal. As we continue to explore our world and its history, the question remains: will the enigma of Atlantis ever be solved, or will it forever remain a tantalizing mystery?